Well, guys, today we're diving into the question that everyone whispers about, but no one says out loud. Who's actually better in real estate, men or women? Different styles, different strengths, different egos, and yes, maybe even different results. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Billy,
Controversial
Billy.
Tuesday.
I know. You got to love it. You got to love it. I think it's awesome. We talk about the points that I think a lot of people shy away from and are just too
Yeah,
nervous to talk about, but we actually just go right into the core of it. Big topic this morning, men versus women in real estate.
yeah. Don't worry, we're not here to pitch you a sales plan as a male versus female. I'm just going to point out some of the obvious differences that we feel we can talk about this morning. But it's funny, yeah. You never see these things come up really.
No, you don't. And listen, there's so many different things that we bring to the table. And I can say that I'm a woman and you're a man. And listen, I've worked in teams pretty much ever since I started in real estate. I've worked in teams alongside women. Tegan, my assistant, is a woman. And then I've got Jono and Thomas, but Billy, you and I have worked together. And I think you can confidently say that there are very different styles and different things that we bring to the table.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely actually complement each other in the best way.
Yeah.
And some of the most successful teams, I think, can bring a combination of both. So, as I said, we're not here to pitch one way or the other this morning or bring out the hard facts. But
About who gets more deals across the line.
yeah, but let's be honest. There's definitely a skewed ratio of men to women.
And that it's changed a lot, right? How many, I know you were just having a look at some stats. How many women, what were the stats that you actually found, men versus women in the industry?
So they tried to break it down a little bit into which part of the industry we're referring to, because sales seems to be more men dominated, about a ratio of 3 to 1. And so then when you then include all roles like administrative and property management, it actually comes up to about a 60-40 ratio in favor of majority men. So
Oh, is it? Right. Okay. You know what I've found interesting over the years? There's a big conference called ARIC that John
yeah,
McGrath puts on. He's done it for years and years. And Mark and I have attended that. It's the largest real estate conference in the Southern Hemisphere. It draws about 6,000 agents from all over the country, actually all over the world. And I've really noticed a change over the years in that, where it used to be heavily male dominated. And then you look around that auditorium, and I reckon it's about half now. I really do. So, Billy, let's get into it. What do you reckon? Like, what, what's the big difference that you can see in in the industry, men versus women? Like, what's the one thing that really just stands out to you?
well, first of all, it's it sounds actually the ratio sounds closer than what it feels like. It does feel a lot more male dominated. What I think from a man's perspective is obvious, is that there is a bit of a gap, and that gap needed to be filled, because you do find sometimes you walk into a home, you're dealing with a family, husband and wife, and the personalities either gel really well, or they sometimes, you sometimes find a female wants to deal with a female. So there's a gap there in the industry, and I think
Yeah.
that's been filled, like it was essential that was filled, because there was a necessity there for it. There was a want there for it, and so
Yeah.
good agents, female agents, have obviously filled that void, which was just natural.
And look, I think there's just there's a natural empathy that women bring to the table. Like, that is our super talent, I think, for use of a better word. And I know I have a lot of elderly female clients that reach out to me. In fact, here's a very, very short fun fact. I had a beautiful lady reach out to me. I'd only been in sales for about 6 months, and she got my DL in her letterbox, the little letterbox drops. She received one of those, and she saw the blonde hair and she saw I was a woman, and she called me to sell her 2-bedroom apartment in DY. We actually became really, really good friends over the years. And when it was time for her to sell her multi million dollar property in Manly, it was me. She didn't even call in any other agents. She definitely didn't want to deal with a male. She trusted me. And, there is that certain level of trust that a woman feels with another woman. And again, there's that certain level of empathy that a woman brings to the table that I just don't know if men have got that. Men have got other superpowers, but I think
Yeah.
women do that really, really well. Like, I think men are good, tough negotiators. I don't know if they're better than women. Obviously, I'm a woman in real estate, and I know I'm a bit of a tough negotiator. What do you think? Do you reckon men negotiate better than women?
I think it's more on the personalities. Like if you put a good buyer in front of a good agent that can understand the motive behind the buyer, assist them in achieving what they want to, do from the get-go, and set that out nicely, it always results in a good finish. So I don't know if one is better than the other. I certainly think, in contrast, men, like businessmen that may deal with a boardroom of men all day long, they're used to that, and so they probably find it a little more natural to maybe have that conversation with another man. I think that no one truly knows the key insight behind the buyer's psychology, but what you're saying
Yes.
from a woman, I think, can be the same thing from man to man. But
Yeah.
truly, the best
And
operators
listen,
like these chameleons, they do both.
yeah. And, listen, I'm just going to say it. Like, things have changed in this world. And anyone who's out there that thinks that women don't have a voice and a certain power right across all different industries. I've got girlfriends that have worked in some very, very high corporate roles in very male dominated industries. And there's no doubt that there's still this certain element, where men feel like they're far superior in some of these areas. And that has changed dramatically. It has. And I can say that because I work in a man's world, or what was a man's world, but it's changing very quickly. And I've got some phenomenal friends that are females that work in real estate, and they are guns. They smash it in their area. They
Yeah.
absolutely smash it, because women, again, have this natural capacity to be able to juggle a million balls. And I know things have changed over the years now with, stay-at-home dads and things like that. I'm definitely well aware of that. But
Yeah.
there's women do have this natural capacity to be able to work out what's for dinner. Not to say, guys, don't come at me. Not to say that men don't do this as well. But where women can juggle work, they can juggle home. They've got everything sorted for dinner. The shopping's all done. The kids are looked after. It's just like juggle, juggle, juggle. I always say, give a job to a busy person if you want to get it done. But there's no doubt that women have forged ahead in many, many industries, and real estate is one of them. As I said, like, I've seen some, you only need to look at the top 100. There's a lot of girls' names on there, that's for sure. Things have changed a lot. Women have a voice, and we're freaking great at what we do. If it be, if I can say that.
Go the girls. But it's an interesting point you mentioned there, because I think where I don't actually see like many of our like local operators do this, but you said you sometimes hear about this in the broader industry, where I think the male key like the number one sort of agents maybe try and pip female agents at the post, is they say they've got distractions away from the business. It's family in the background, or it can be other distractions, which takes time and energy away from the campaign. So look, it is obvious, and I don't think this is gender related, but if you've got someone who's part-time, there's a part-time real estate agent, you can expect a part-time service and a part-time result. So that's not gender related.
No,
But
absolutely. And I did listen. I had a friend in the industry. She was pregnant, And a lot of the male agents in her area were saying she's not going to be able to focus and give your campaign the attention that it needs because she's pregnant and she's going to be off, having a baby. And I was like, oh, that's probably not a great thing to say to any woman, let alone a pregnant woman. But women have this natural born ability to be able to juggle just a million things all at once. And I'll tell you something else that women do really, really well. And Billy, I want to hear from you what men do really well as well. But I'll tell you another thing that I know women do well, and that is that we sit and we listen.
Yeah.
We listen. And in our industry, you need to be a very, very good listener because often people have got a lot of things going on. We deal with all sorts of things, divorces, deaths in the family, people that are in financial distress. And so there is a big part of our job where we almost need to be like counsellors. And again, I feel like women, and again, I might be generalising here, but women are natural born listeners. Now, on that note, Billy, I want to hear what you have to say about what strengths men have.
Well, here's some of the stuff. This is the area of expertise. Can be for both. Communications. This is what the top agents are supposed to be having. Again,
Communication.
Communication,
Men?
social behavior, risk taking, empathy and intuition, decision making style, multitasking. Now, some of those sound like the women would be excellent at all of those, but
sorry, I'm having a giggle here. Okay, right. Really? Okay.
Yeah, but here's I reckon. I don't think, again, this is gender related, but I reckon this is the biggest one. Client relationships, I think, are the strongest out of all of those. I think the boys club holds some phenomenal relationships, and then people trust and like to do business with those relationships. So take that for what you will. I think there's some really good relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it can be said that, guys are tough negotiators. But again, I think that's generalizing. I had actually someone who mentioned something to me a couple of weeks ago it's for a phenomenal listing that I've been pitching for. And he actually said to me, he said, please don't take this the wrong way. But, I feel like maybe as a woman, how are you going to go negotiating up against some tough men at this level? And I was like, that has nothing to do with a woman. You either are or you aren't. And it literally has nothing to do with it. And I think, you could say that about the vast majority of things because there are many men out there that can be extremely empathetic and that can be extremely great negotiators. The best model I've seen and I've experienced personally in real estate is a combination of both. I really do. That's what I do. I do know and I feel. I know, Billy, you and I have worked together for many, many years, and I know there's definitely, certain strengths that together, united as a female male team, there's a lot that you can bring to the table. And I think there is nothing more powerful than when you turn up to a listing presentation, Billy, often I'm taking a guy along with me. Because, you do want to try and be all things to all people, particularly when you're going and you're meeting, a married couple. I think, that's, I just do. I think, there's certain things that you as a male will bring to the table, and same with women.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And as I said, I've witnessed that across all agencies, all teams. There seems to be a blend, and people play to their strengths.
There you go, guys. Men versus women in real estate. There's lots and lots of things that together we both bring to the table. Hope everyone has an awesome day. Billy, thanks again. Controversial Tuesday. See you again next week.
See ya. Have a good one.
See you guys.